Yeah. Okay. That is Morning at NTV. That's how we do it. We are a pretty packed up fun live show every weekday, Monday to Friday. But well, for Friday, it's a little bit different. You've noticed a little bit of music, Romeo jumping, wiggling up and down. Yes, that is Friday Day for you. Well, the conversation is still centered on musicians. Bobby Wine, Bebe Cool, Eddie Kenzo, Catherine Kusasira, Full Figure. Unlike Bobby Wine, actually, the artists I've mentioned actually are on that list of presidential advisors as we speak. How did the Ghetto make it to the State House? I have Andrew Kagwa. He's an arts and culture journalist, so he's the perfect person to have this conversation with. So Museveni's newfound love, as we speak, are non-political actors who are mostly musicians and music promoters who are taking the center stage of Uganda's political landscape. Will they succeed? Will they succeed in winning President Museveni the support that he's actually looking for right now?
Well, I'm not a political scientist, so...
But right now,
one of the things I would say
you're not a political scientist,
yes.
but then actually this conversation is actually very simple.
Yes.
These are people from the ghetto, yeah? Do you think they'll be able to win Museveni the support he's looking for, especially in the ghetto? Bana Malako.
You see, one of the biggest problems I have with... men in suits. Jeez,
yeah.
I think I use that word very much, and I'm afraid people are now starting to think I mean them when I say men in suits. But you see, oh, geez, you're wearing a suit. But you see, men in suits believe the ghetto is a place. But the ghetto is not really a place. The ghetto is a state, it's in the mind, it's a place that inspires you to work hard. People work to leave the ghetto much as even when they leave the ghetto.
Going. So you're saying the ghetto is just your surroundings, but the people themselves at the ghetto.
The people at the ghetto, and at times the mindset. The ghetto inspires you to work, to move from one place to the next. You see, I don't know if you've heard that Bobby Wine song. It's
the one we just played.
Yeah, there is that one that has played, and then there is another one which was Bikwase Chagulanyi, where he says bozalibwa mu ghetto, n'okulira mu ghetto, n'osomera mu ghetto, n'okolera mu ghetto, n'olobera mu ghetto.
The last one.
Eyebeera compliance.
You slip in the ghetto.
Naye bw'ozaalibwa mu ghetto, n'okolera mu ghetto, n'ova mu ghetto, n'otuula n'abanene, eyeeba defiance.
What he did. Yeah.
What he did, like, you do not want to stay in the ghetto, however much you still relate to it. Bobby Wine still relates to the ghetto. Like, I mean, I grew up in Kamocha, and I do not live in Kamocha, I do not work in Kamocha, but I still relate to the ghetto. Now that's defiant. And many of the people the president is trying to attach himself with, okay, if I'm to pick on, say, Sipapa and Butcherman, I mean, these are guys that were in the ghetto before I even started primary in the ghetto. So, yeah, I don't really think those are the people ghetto people would want to relate with. Ghetto people usually want to see triumph. They want to see a person that's inspiring them to go somewhere. I'm so sure that I could be a better inspiration to the ghetto people, and I could influence more ghetto people than Butcherman can, because let's face it, Butcherman has kind of stayed in one place.
Actually, even Bobby Wine did inspire many of us while he was still in the ghetto. You remember that? When he was broke. We were inspired by that hustle to also work that hard. And when he finally left the ghetto, we were like, wait, it can be done. You can move from the ghetto and actually
you and
live
I
a good
know
life.
You and I know that he actually inspired us because we were seeing him progress. Ghetto people, ghetto youths do not want to see a person that's staying in the ghetto, like being a grandfather of the ghetto in one state, and like they want to see progress. So when it comes to many of the people, these advisors, we don't even know if they're advisors to begin with. Let's look at that fact actually. Like, does any one of them have an appointment letter to be a presidential advisor? or they kind of walked into the president.
But you know how the president does his things. It's always by word of mouth. We just wake up and say, I announce you to be. He can just wake up and say, you are his presidential advisor. And that's it.
Maybe, like, we all have very many advisors. I mean, maybe he says you're my advisor, but these people come out and they say they've been assigned. You see, one of the easiest things to do right now is going to the president and then coming to the public and you say, I've been assigned this. Like, for example, someone can just walk into the president and like, yeah, we are the ghetto journalists of Uganda.
Ghetto journalists.
And then when you come out, you're like, I was appointed and I was asked to mobilize the poor journalists of Uganda that are youth.
We would have lost the plot.
So like, it's quite very easy these days for people to get in and then they come out and they're like, we've been appointed. And since we were not there when they were in there, we can't really tell whether they were already appointed. But you remember Story Daily Monitor ran this week when some people, I think some people on the appointments committee or something, were like, we've not received any something like an appointment letters of Kusasi and Butcherman.
And they won't receive it, so they have to keep on waiting.
I know.
You also saw the fracas at Makerere University when the Parliament's Education Committee was trying to remove that 15% cumulative interest. The NRM caucus had to circumvent them, then go to the president and find a way to make it stay. So when it comes to for them waiting for that appointment, they'll have to wait till forever. The president's word in this country is final. You remember, like Tumukunde said, we are leaving all the thinking to the president. Anyway, you mentioned something very, very, very contentious. You said that when you leave the ghetto people never want you to come back. They actually want you to prosper and move ahead.
They want you to prosper, yes, but they want you to relate with them. They do not want you to ignore
come back,
them.
but they don't want you to come back.
They don't want you to come back
condition.
into the same condition you were. They want to see their people prosper.
I didn't understand that. In 2015, I tried to go back to the ghetto to just preach peace and for people to desist against violence. But let me tell you, the attitude I got was, what is he doing here? Isn't it Romeo Busiku on the television? What is he doing in the ghetto? So to them, instead of taking advantage of the fact that I was there to ask me how I did it or how I'm doing or what I'm doing right now to make it up there, instead they were questioning why I was there in the ghetto. I didn't understand it, but now that you're putting it in perspective, I am. But then it also begs to ask this next question. If Bobby Wine decides to go back to the ghetto, come 2015 when we are having those campaigns, will he be embraced or shunned? Like you say,
he will always come back to the ghetto and people welcome him because he still speaks like them.
So he won't have the same experience that I had.
I think the reasons why you might have had the experience you had could be because maybe you went to people that do not know your story that much. Or like you always need someone who knows you because you might have left and people might have moved on. Many people might have moved into the neighborhood and so probably people that are living there at the moment.
Actually, they knew, really but their problem was, okay, you've made it up there. Why are you coming back to the field? I did try all that. But then it looked like they were not trying to relate
like I go
with
back
Romy
to the
Buseko.
ghetto every time. Like you see, I'm not showing off.
Like for them, when they see you back in the ghetto, they might think, okay, you failed. Okay, you're back now because you failed.
I'm not showing
but
off.
But it was the other way around.
See, at times I go to the ghetto with an expensive gadget, a camera.
Yeah.
And I'm taking these wonderful pictures, talking to these people, but because I can talk to them in a certain way. You're like, hey, Charlie, Yogambachi. And no one is going to touch your camera. They will even take you around. They will protect you. Like, geez, the ghetto is magic. Like, okay, I'm not advocating for anything, but the ghetto is really magic. I think that's the reason why people think they can use the ghetto as props because we are very magical people. But
okay, let's go to that next conversation. Andrew Kagwa, do you think there are votes in the ghetto that are just enough to help Bobby Wine or Museveni win the next election?
The ghetto is not a place. The people that are in the ghetto are very few compared to the Ugandan population. But the people that still have the ghetto at heart Let me tell you, you will find a youth that has never lived in Kamocha, but he's living a lifestyle of a ghetto guy. Like he's eating a Rolex for supper.
We need to, yeah.
So basically, they are not very different. In like they are facing the same problems. The only difference is the physical location where these people stay, and all those are ghetto youths, regardless of where they are living. The ghetto is always at heart. It's more at heart than the physical place.
Are there enough votes in the
After
ghetto?
because
We are seeing the big wigs fighting for this small. We will look at it as a small ghetto,
Actually,
but they get to they could be like holding like 80% of the population in Uganda, and if that's the case, 80% of the population being in the ghettos, I think that's why President Museveni is fighting so hard.
After saying that the ghetto is in the heart, I believe the votes are there. It's just that those people that are trying to look for them are looking for them in the wrong way. They are going to the physical place, which has a very small population.
Instead of hunting for people who have lived in the ghetto and might know a thing or two about life in the ghetto.
And they have the ghetto at heart.
But the president has always said that he wanted to engage Mr. Bobi Wine to tell him what the issues are in the ghetto so that he can solve them. But then he says that Bobi Wine instead is using those bad things he saw in the ghetto to decampaign the government and get them out of power. And they are saying that's the reason why they went for Butcherman. Because, one, he was his number two, his deputy, and that. He saw what Bobi Wine saw, and that's why they got him as their presidential advisor. Because
and you and I know that Bobi Wine has not seen what he has been seeing in the ghettos in 2018. He has been seeing and singing about that since I first saw Bobi Wine. Like, I first saw Bobi Wine before he became famous. I can tell you, Bobi Wine had his very first concert in our compound, and in
Kamocha.
Yes, in Kamocha. Like, there was a community compound. We just lived there, and that's why he had his very first concert. And you know how it was easy for us young children to get in? Like, all you had to do was to go and buy a bottle of beer and look for one of the crew members who might seem like they can't afford a beer bottle. You give them one and they will let you in. He has been saying about these things from those days when he was singing in those grounds. Then he became famous. He won awards. It's only because the ghetto went to the parliament. Then Power thought, okay, now that ghetto is here and ghetto is making many people think like this, we must go to the ghetto. But one of the things we must look at the moment is people are trying to tap into the ghetto because one, Bobi Wine has made everyone believe art can create change. Bobi Wine has made everyone see that actually the ghetto exists.
So you're trying to tell me right now that Museveni only came out to hand for people in the ghetto after the rise of Bobi Wine. And if that hadn't happened, we'd still be in the same quagmire. People in the ghetto being neglected.
Let me tell you, if Bobi Wine had not come up, Bebe Cool would have still been somewhere waiting for the next campaign to sing for Museveni. Right now, he walks with him wherever he goes. Like, more artists are literally joining this. Is it like a circus? Because many of them do not really understand what they're even talking about. Like, they just go on rambling and they're like, yeah. Like, some of them have even started saying they also grew up from the ghetto. But you see, if it wasn't for Bobi Wine, many of the things we are seeing happen right now when it comes to politics and music wouldn't have been happening. And I still insist Bebe Cool will not be as relevant as he is right now.
But let me tell you someone who was relevant in Uganda's ghettos in the 90s, even the late 90s. That was President Museveni. The person sitting next to you, myself, I had our whole house painted yellow. I only knew one candidate, and that was President Museveni. But as we geared towards the late 1990s, things started to change. We waited on the commander-in-chief to come back because he had promised. He came and he made promises, we are going to do this and that. The man never came back. I remember my own mother telling me, you will plaque down each yellow poster you've put up yourself. And that did happen, but it wasn't only me. It was also even the other people in the surrounding communities. They were you know, the dissent
well,
was growing because
I-
services were not coming
like,
to us.
which
Why?
elections are we looking at? Like there was that time when everything was good. Like we didn't even need as many services. Like many things were good, and we just followed. Like we just followed. We cared less whether we were getting enough clean water.
Okay,
like,
right about now, my brother Kagwa, we are going to take a short breather, not a short breather, just a bumper, and then link to Mbide. He has something. He's at the Property Expo, but he has more details in that regard. Stephen Mbide, then we'll come back with this conversation. We'll be talking about why President Museveni got detached from the ghetto. Now, Mbide.
Yes, good morning, Romeo. There in the studios. Right now, I'm at the Sheraton Gardens right here in Kampala. Usually around this time of the year, of course, just 46 days to the end of the year, many people are in jubilation, while others are just making resolutions for the coming year. And of course, this year when it was beginning, many people made resolutions like building a house, designing a compound, beautifying their residences, and of course, many people we are looking at just painting the house or renting a very beautiful house. But there are so many things that we need to know when you're thinking about building that house, owning that land and beautifying your house. Some of the things you need to know are those that come with the flowers, how you design the compound, where you can buy that cheap or affordable land. And this is why there is the Homes and Property Expo happening down here in Kampala at the Sheraton Gardens. Right now, you can see the beautiful flowers here from the gardens where this exhibition is taking place right here in Kampala. Of course, if you are still dreaming of having that beautiful house or owning that land or renting a place that befits you as that corporate person that you are, it's still possible that you can afford one in Kampala. Of course, if you can come here at the Sheraton Gardens, you'll be seeing many people, property managers, those who are dealing in real estate, those who can help you with how to acquire land, how to purchase, what things do you need to know about getting a lease, of course, things that you can know about also property management and things like where if you want to rent, where can you get those affordable houses. Let me also, first of all, speak to this gentleman here. I can see there is better landlord, home ownership made easy. Landlord. Morning, how are you?
Morning to you, sir.
I'm okay. Tell me, what's your name, if you can face my camera.
I'm Sawanyana Edward with Cinnamon Investment Limited, dealing in property management, rental collection, marketing of properties, procuring of tenants, among others.
How is this exhibition going to help you and or help someone who is watching now?
This exhibition, as Cinnamon Investment Limited, we have come up with a new concept of better landlord to cater for the low-income earners. In that if someone has a piece of land, we can help him or her build a low-cost house starting from 20 to 30 million.
Just 20 to 30 million.
Yeah.
Okay, let me also speak to other people. If you know you want maybe to get the bathtubs, there are so many people here having already displaying things that you need in that shower room of yours, or in your toilet, whatever you want to beautify your house with, it's already here on display here. I can see Square Homes here, also they are here displaying what they do. I think this must be property managers, if I'm not mistaken. Good morning.
Morning, sir. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you feeling? And why are you here?
I'm fine. In fact, we are here to introduce very many things in Uganda, showing our Ugandans that the things they do see over nets, overseas, they're also in Uganda. Like here, we are here at Sheraton Kampala Hotel. There are very many properties, people who deal in apartments like 5 Square Homes Company. There are very many, we are not only us, but others have brought natural flowers, others are for nets. In fact, we have brought very many things here. And on top of that, we are going to spend here like 3 days. That was yesterday, today and tomorrow. So that we are just welcoming all Ugandans. That you will show them how Uganda is developing on a daily basis.
Thank you so much. I wish you all the best for today and tomorrow. I also I make sure that Colin there in the studios, Dan, Sabachije, was also try to come here and see how they can build or develop themselves, because I know this is free of charge. Coming here is free of charge. You definitely don't have to pay anything, and I know there is a lot you will be finding. You'll be finding a lot that you want to know about real estate, land compensation for your land. If you want to buy land, how can you be compensated if you have to vacate that land? Or if you want to really acquire the best affordable real estate here in Uganda. Something that is so crucial in Uganda is achieving that affordable land or affordable housing, but it's still a challenge in Uganda. Let me speak to the chairman himself, Homes Expo, Mr. Edwin Musime, who's also a pastor. Good morning to you. Praise God.
Good morning and praise God. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Good.
Just tell us how you brought this concept in Uganda. You were the first person who brought this concept in Uganda. You've been running it now and then. Now, what's so special this time around? Because you know people are coming in for a festive season from wherever over the world. Those who are here, they had dreams of at least owning beautiful homes, or even renting at least houses that are really befitting their status. What is so special? If someone is watching now, what can he or she expect if he comes here?
Okay, we're right here at the Sheraton Hotel. It's a little bit chilly, by the way, but we are getting ready to receive back our exhibitors for day 2 of the expo that started yesterday. It was opened by the Vice President yesterday, and we're here today up to 7 p.m. and tomorrow we open at 9 a.m. By the way, if you're watching right now, tomorrow we're saying healthy body in a healthy home. So come in your sports wear at 9 a.m. We'll start out with some drills and exercises that you should do at your home and how to feed right. The expo was started 8 years ago as a vision that I heard to improve and move the real estate industry forward. I kept traveling and admiring other countries like Dubai, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, London, Paris. And I thought, okay, come on, these are things we can achieve in Uganda. And the first expo we ever did, I think we just had one, I think it was just National Housing and one other developer. But now when you look around, what I appreciate so much, majorly our partners who have come in to bring in affordable housing. I always use the case study of Universal Properties, who are over there, that introduced a whole new world of what it meant to affordable housing. Of course, to the viewer out there, you need to understand there are two concepts here: affordable housing and low-cost housing. When we had the Vice President, I mentioned to him categorically that the President needs to come in as the government to ensure that they tackle the idea of low-cost housing, because low-cost housing is majorly meant for Muntu Wawansidala, just like it's being done in Rwanda, where they're attracting investors and countries to come in and partner with the government to build low-cost shelter for the low-end person. Now, with affordable housing here, you're talking about properties, if you can see over there, from 50.
Or you can move there as you explain.
If you look at some of their projects here, as Universal Properties, they were one of the pioneers in as far as affordable housing is concerned. And you can look at some of their projects, and what is amazing about them is that you could think that affordable housing means it will be houses that look lousy and all that, but all these projects, please, can you just tell us which projects are currently up?
This is Kololo. We have Muyenga. We have Nalia and Nigeria. Mostly we are universal multi-purpose. We have different areas. We have projects in different areas.
We have Nalia, Nigeria, Muyenga, and we have the luxury projects. We have Kololo in Hilltop in Kololo. We have Flamingo in Nigeria. We also have some affordable projects in Nalia, and some of them goes 176 million, and as low as 96 million you can get a apartment.
Okay, maybe as Edwin, as we wind up this conversation, what else would you tell someone that if he or she comes here, these are the people he is going to find here, those dealing in what
when you come here, we have a whole wide range of players in the industry. We have our message is that once you get a good home, say from Universal Properties, as you've seen, I mean, you have properties from as low as 96 million. But the beauty about it is with good payment plans. So we have a cross-section of exhibitors, the gardening and flowers. We're telling people once you have a beautiful home, you need a good garden, you need a good flora and fauna. We have interior designers, we have B-plows, as you can see over there. We've got the housing finance Stambik for mortgages, because not everybody can just be able to get a cash cow and pay upfront and all that. We've got the mortgage players and all that. I think one of the other exciting players we have today, because of Buy Uganda, Build Uganda, Chint came into the country and they were literally importing everything. But now, as we speak, a lot of their cables are being manufactured right here in Uganda. So the innovation that has been put into the industry is amazing, and we look at where we're headed to as a country. If you look right over there, it will shock you that all that furniture is made in Uganda. That's Biplaus, but made in Uganda. So it's quality products for everybody that is out there watching. It's important for them to come and just see what the market has to offer at the moment.
Thank you so much, Mr. Edwin Musime, who is the chairman of Homes and Property Expo. As you can see, beautiful stuff is here. As you get ready to pass by, you will be finding amazing stuff here in the Homes and Property Expo happening down here at the Sheraton Gardens. Of course, it's free entrance here. Mala, I think I'll be seeing you soon here, and I have to hand the microphone back to you in the studios to take on the conversation. Morning at NTV, wishing you a nice weekend.
Thank you so much, Stephen Bida. Indeed, I'll be making my way there. Salute to you. Thank you so much for showcasing the amazing space of real estate. And yesterday we were having a conversation with Mr. Musime, and he was saying that you too can afford a house, all right? How about you? If you're a beginner, just think of building it yourself. But of course, there are quite a number of options that you can take advantage of. All right, let's get into your birthday wishes. Happy birthday to you who is celebrating your birthday this amazing day. It's a half month, yes, the 15th of November 2019. So I'll begin on Twitter. Of course, you're having Dak Farte. You're saying my 30th birthday today. All right, happy birthday. Special thanks to Allah, my parents and friends, and still learning and shall always improve in every aspect of my life. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Duck. All right, we also have Mr. Brian Mulondo wishing his pastor a happy birthday. We're having the pastor Gary Mack, of course, of Watoto Church, celebrating his birthday today. Happy birthday, man of God. We wish you all the best. I also do have another wish right here on Twitter at we're having at Dan, yes, at Tumuhairwe. Dan 1, you're saying, K. Daniel, I wish my mom, Mbabazi Faith, a happy birthday. A happy birthday to your mommy, and we wish her all the best. Let me just pick one more on Facebook right here. I have Magezi Robert, you're saying happy birthday to your daughter. Annette Akiki, you're saying, my daughter, enjoy your day. Happy birthday to your princess. We also have Adams, you're saying happy birthday, my darling. Sees Aisha Nakalema, may you live to blow 1,000 candles. Keep them coming. We'll be able to sift them out, of course, on hashtag morning at NTV, and wish you a happy birthday at that. At this point in time, let's continue with our conversation with Romeo Busiku. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Mala, for those birthday wishes. Anyone who's celebrating their birthday in this month of November, NMG wishes you a very, very, very huge and humongous blast in that regard. We are talking about the people in the ghettos and the presidential advisors who were tasked to help President Museveni garner support ahead of the 2021 general elections. And I also have Andrew Kagwa, an arts and culture journalist, in studio right here, and we are continuing with that banter. Andrew,
Yeah.
I was telling you how I was so passionate about the NRM in the late 1990s, but that support started to wane. Not only me, but the other people, the surrounding communities, they started to change. They were saying that the service delivery that was promised in 1986 wasn't coming around after at least 14 years. That's around 2000. So after Besigye came around in 2001, it actually became worse. The president disappeared off the grid. He only came back in 2005 for the campaigns for the election that followed the next year in 2006. And then later we saw him show up in 2010 after the Kampala bombings. That's when he was like, okay, we've woken up. My government has woken up. Nothing like this is going to happen. So again, he said the same thing in 2015 during the elections. He was like, again, we've woken up. So we don't know which is which. And let's get back to the conversation about the ghettos. Let's first get back to the conversation about the ghettos.
Yes.
If the president was attached to the ghettos in the first place, like I've mentioned in the early 90s, what happened? What detached the president from the ghettos in the first place?
When I grew up in the ghetto, so I can just use we. Like when we thought he was attached, but how often did we see the president in the ghettos?
He disappeared.
All the time, many of the people we had from the government were, if we were lucky enough, like a mayor would come when he's campaigning. Like just like that song called Ghetto, where he says, where Bobby Wine says, when it's time for election, usually come to the ghetto because the rich people do not vote, they do not have time. So it is something that usually happens. I do not really remember in my lifetime in the ghetto seeing the president or a candidate for mayor or MP actually coming to the ghetto to campaign. We usually just had the councillor, the LC one, those ones, campaigning.
So now
around
some people
us.
are saying if he leaves,
So-
there will be too much suffering in the country.
So the thing,
Do you hear statements like that?
yes, because of course in this story, which is the leading Daily Monitor today,
Is President Museveni the only candidate that we have in this country that is capable of steering the wheels of this country in the right direction?
that one I can't answer because I'm not a political person, like I said earlier. But yes, I saw someone saying there will be a lot of suffering, and it is a comedian who...
Kaibanda.
Yeah, Kaibanda, who says he was actually tasked to link people to the president. Jeez, there are very many things to say about these appointments.
Even the musicians themselves, they become too politicized. Andrew Bajo, that is Andrew Mukasa, aka Bajo. You also have Abi Musinguzi. They've abandoned music and they've joined activism.
But
has,
you see,
has music been politicized?
That's one of the things I thought was going to happen. Music is supposed to be political, by the way. Music, not just music, art is supposed to be political. Art is supposed to critique the society. Art is supposed to be telling us what's going on in the
Using
society.
creativity to critique the leaders.
The only problem right now is that art is being bought off and it's only speaking one message. If it's not saying that, they will not comment about anything. Or when you say something that's not that, you will not get airplay. But one of the good things that are going to come out of this is, if you've noticed, very many of the people that go to the president are people that are almost giving up on their careers. And for one industry that has had a lot of bad singers, like I'm not even apologetic when I'm saying this. For an industry that has had very many people ear granting us, very bad singing, very bad dancers. Okay, some people even just show up and shake and they call that dancing. People that cannot write, we are tired. And when many people are going to the president, I think we are going to get a chance to listen to real singers. We are going to get a chance to listen to talented people. And in that regard, I'm actually happy. I will not mention anyone who has been here granting us, but they know themselves.
I like the fact that you're opening up Andrew Kagwa. Let me take you to this next question. What can be done to ensure that our ghettos are empowered to become self-reliant, other than depending on the crumbs of bread given to us by these politicians? How best can this government empower the ghettos to be self-reliant and develop themselves instead of focusing on the crumbs of bread that are just being thrown at them?
I think it's the creative economy. Like, I'm a very strong believer in the creative economy. One, see, the shirt I'm putting on, one day it was a freebie, you know, one of those freebies people give you. And then the next day I patch on a Chitenji and it looks different. Like, the thing about creativity is it's very unlimited. Like, people will never get tired of listening to music. And regardless of how many artists we have, there is someone willing to listen to each and every artist.
90% of creative people we have are from the ghettos.
Yes, them. The ghetto is, like I said earlier, the ghetto is very magic. You'll find people that are making crafts. You'll find people that are designing clothes. You'll find people that are writing Bina Uganda. You'll find people that are making music, producing music. So the ghetto is a very magical place that if we empowered art, you're going to have very many Ugandans that are self-employed and they will not need this fish that they are handing them right now. Like, you have Ugandans that do not need fish because they already have a net to catch the fish.
Wow. Andrew Kagwa, as we wrap up, we're actually wrapping up. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful conversation. I'm liking it. Balam The promoter is saying that these artists are going to help President Museveni garner support ahead of 2021. Is that right? Or could there be another reason that the president is just trying to pit Butcherman with Bobby Wine? Just one answer, yes or no? Just one answer. We are going to link to Mala.
It's a yes and no. They will help garner some support, but not necessarily the support that's needed. I don't think it will be enough.
You don't think it will be enough? And let's leave it at that note. Thank you very much. Andrew Kagwa is an arts and culture journalist with the Daily Monitor. Our conversation has been basically the ghettos and how best government can empower them. My name is Romeo Busiku. The show has come to an end. Mala, I see you. Let's just leave this place and create room for the next show.
Yeah, we have to. So see you next week from 6:30 to 9 a.m. Stay safe, have a blessed weekend, and make it work today.
And let's leave you with this song, See Ya Unstoppable, to all our fans out there who are